Good evening. First, it was a 1500-year-old temple in Tamil Nadu, then an entire village in Bihar, then the Indian Parliament, then acres of iconic Vijaypura, then Kannur military land, and now just a week ago 400 acres of Christian land in Kerala being claimed by Waqf. The day is not far when from Peshawar to Plassey the subcontinent would be united again as one nation under Waqf. This is bizarre. We have the Draconian Waqf Act that has usurped thousands of acres of government, personal, even temple land. And we only want to amend this act. Unjust, discriminatory, draconian acts are not amended. They are abrogated. Do not amend the Waqf Act. Abrogate it. World over, disputes over property are settled using existing laws that are community and religion agnostic. Why should a particular religious community be armed with another set of laws, those that are patently discriminatory towards member of the other community, as a primary instrument of defense, or indeed, as we've seen too often, offense? I have nothing against Waqf board. Let it be like any other boards or a charity or an NGO or whatever it may be. But I have problems with Waqf Act. Is there a Hindu equivalent of the Waqf Act? Promulgate one then, in the interest of equality. Let those who want continuation of the Waqf Act watch as Hindus lay claim to tens of thousands of mosques and Islamic land and Muslim villages and enjoy the privilege of the disputes being addressed primarily not through the courts, but first via the clauses and strictures of the Hindu equivalent of the Waqf Act. 24 घंटे में लाइन पे आ जाएंगे. Amending the Waqf Act is akin to chopping the head of a hydra. This is because while you might have removed a few discriminatory and draconian clauses from the Act, and indeed you have, in the amended version, a vast majority of them remain untouched. Section 28, Section 8, 101, 54 to but name a few. For example, Section 28 gives Waqf the power to order a collector to implement the decisions of the board. Collector kahan se aa gaya beech mein bhai? Section 8 says the state has to pay for the Waqf survey. This is in direct violation of Article 27 of our Constitution that says no person shall be compelled to pay any taxes, the proceeds of which are specifically appropriated in payment of expenses for the promotion or maintenance of any particular religion or religious denomination. Section 101 says the survey commissioner, members of the board, every officer, every auditor of the board, and every other person appointed to discharge any duties imposed on him by this act shall be deemed to be public servant, as is understood by the Indian Penal Code. Now you know what happens when you touch a public servant literally or metaphorically, don't you? Section 54 gives it power to declare you an encroacher. Waqf tribunal decision can only be overturned by a long and financially draining legal process. Everyone knows this. The Waqf is a parallel government being run by the state. In its board, it has its own legislature. In its surveyor, it has its own executive. And in its tribunal, it has its own judiciary. If India is to be saved from becoming an Islamic republic, the Waqf Act shouldn't just be amended, it should be abrogated. Waqf Act doesn't just appease Muslims. The problem is it discriminates against non-Muslims. The Waqf Act, in fact, is one of the 8 reasons why Hindus are 8th-class citizens in their own country. Muslims claimed in court that Gyanvyapi, built atop a Hindu temple, is on Waqf land. So was Kashi Vishwanath demolished by Aurangzeb also on Waqf land? Ganga Jamna Tehzeeb bol bol ke Ganga bhi le li, Yamuna bhi le li. I ask you, how can a 1500-year-old temple in Tamil Nadu be adjudged by Waqf to be on Islamic land when Islam is only 1300 years old? How? Koi bata de mujhe. So I say to our politicians who are assembling right now for the winter session, it is better to be a hero who is forgotten than to be a coward who is remembered. Do not be cowards. Do the right thing. Abrogate this Waqf Act.